Where are you from, Sarah?
I'm from Poland.
Are you?
Yeah.
My family, or, part of them going back in time were from Poland.
Me too. I'm Polish.
So we could be related.
Oh, that's...
When a 14-year-old girl from a Polish village of just 3,000 people walked onto the America's Got Talent stage, nobody could have predicted what would happen next. What unfolded in those moments would change her life forever, catapult her to international stardom, and silence every critic who ever doubted her. But Sara James's journey didn't end with that golden moment. What she's accomplished since then will absolutely shock you. Sara James possessed an undeniable force from the moment she stepped into the spotlight. This young Polish singer had already conquered stages across Europe, winning the Voice Kids in Poland and representing her country at the Junior Eurovision Song Contest, where she finished as runner-up. Yet, despite these triumphs, Sara faced obstacles that would have crushed most teenagers. She endured racism at school because of her Nigerian heritage, forcing her family to change schools multiple times. She came from a tiny town where dreams felt impossibly far away. But Sara refused to let her circumstances define her destiny. Her magnetic presence and otherworldly vocal talent would soon captivate millions across America, proving that true artistry knows no borders. Join us as we tell you what really happened to Sara James from America's Got Talent. The atmosphere backstage at America's Got Talent on that summer evening in 2022 crowded with nervous energy. 13-year-old Sara James stood in the wings with her mother Arletta, their hearts pounding in unison. For Sara, this wasn't just another audition. This was her first time ever setting foot in America, a country she'd only seen through YouTube videos of act performances that had amazed her since childhood. In her small Polish town of Ośno Lubuskie, population 3,000, she had watched these videos countless times, dreaming of the moment when she too might stand on that iconic stage. Now, as host Terry Crews chatted with her and her mother about their journey from rural Poland to the dazzling lights of Los Angeles, the magnitude of the moment threatened to overwhelm her. The cameras captured every flicker of emotion crossing her young face as she prepared to walk out and face the 4 judges who held her dreams in their hands. When Sara finally stepped onto that massive stage, the audience erupted in warm applause. Judge Simon Cowell leaned forward in his chair, his expression unreadable. Howie Mandel smiled encouragingly. Heidi Klum and Sofia Vergara exchanged glances, intrigued by the petite teenager standing confidently center stage. Terry Crews asked about her journey, and Sara's voice trembled slightly as she explained that she'd never been to America before. Simon Cowell's expression softened visibly. He shared with Sara that when he first came to America from the United Kingdom 20 years earlier, it was a moment he would never forget. The connection between them was immediate and profound. Then came the question everyone was waiting for: what would she sing? Sara had chosen Billie Eilish and Khalid's hauntingly beautiful ballad Lovely for one simple reason: it was emotional. As the opening notes filled the theater, something extraordinary happened. The nervous teenage girl transformed into a seasoned artist. Her voice, ethereal and powerful simultaneously, wrapped around every note with artistic precision that seemed impossible for someone her age. The judges sat frozen, their mouths slightly open in disbelief. Howie Mandel's eyes widened. Sofia Vergara placed her hand over her heart. Heidi Klum leaned forward, completely mesmerized. But it was Simon Cowell's reaction that everyone would remember forever. As Sara hit the emotional crescendo of the song, tears glistened in several audience members' eyes. The control she exhibited over her instrument was nothing short of breathtaking. She possessed what musicians call a pop star recording quality voice, each phrase delivered with maturity and understanding far beyond her. 13 years. When the final note faded into silence, the theater exploded. The audience leaped to their feet, thunderous applause washing over the stage like a tidal wave. All 4 judges stood immediately, their faces radiating pure amazement. Simon Cowell was the first to speak, and his words sent chills through everyone present. "We've heard a lot of singers over the years," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "but wow, you have a real star glow about you." The other judges nodded vigorously in agreement, but Simon wasn't finished. He looked at Sara, at this young girl who had traveled thousands of miles to chase her American dream. And in that moment, He made a decision that would change everything. Without another word, Simon Cowell reached forward and slammed his hand down on the golden buzzer. The theater erupted into absolute pandemonium. Golden confetti rained from the ceiling as Grace Vanderwaal's cover of I Can See Clearly now blasted through the speakers. Sara stood frozen in shock, her hands covering her face as tears streamed down her cheeks. This was her golden buzzer moment, the one she'd dreamed about in her small Polish village. Her mother rushed onto the stage, wrapping her daughter in a fierce embrace as both sobbed with joy. Sara couldn't speak, couldn't breathe, couldn't process the magnitude of what had just happened. She was going straight to the live shows. Within hours, the video of her audition began racking up millions of views on YouTube. Social media exploded with reactions from viewers around the world. Comments flooded in, "This girl is going to win it all. I've never seen Simon react like that. That voice is unreal for a 13-year-old. But amid the celebration, whispers of controversy began to emerge. As Sara's audition video continued its meteoric rise, eventually surpassing 18 million views, a different conversation started brewing in comment sections and online forums. Some viewers discovered Sara's impressive resume, winner of The Voice Kids Poland, runner-up at Junior Eurovision, hundreds of thousands of social media followers. Accusations began flying. "This isn't fair to undiscovered talent," some complained. "She's already a professional," others argued. AJIT has become a showcase for established acts rather than a true discovery show, critics insisted. The backlash cut deep for someone so young. But Sara had faced worse demons than online critics. What America's Got Talent didn't tell its audience was the pain Sara had endured long before she ever thought about international stardom. Born to a Polish mother and Nigerian father in the small town of Słubice, Sara grew up in a loving but complicated family situation. Her parents eventually divorced, leaving her to navigate the challenges of a blended family with younger half-siblings. But the most painful chapter of her childhood came from her peers at school. Because of the color of her skin, Sara faced relentless racism from other students. The harassment became so severe that her family was forced to change schools multiple times, searching for an environment where their daughter could simply be herself without fear or prejudice. Music became Sara's refuge, her escape from the cruelty of ignorant children who couldn't see past her appearance. At just 6 years old, she began learning piano at the first-degree state music school in Słubice. Her father, John Egwu James, himself a singer, recognized his daughter's extraordinary gift and nurtured it carefully. Sara threw herself into vocal training with Edita Kręgiel at the Municipal Cultural Center, channeling her pain and struggles into her art. She looked up to powerful female artists like Beyoncé, Rihanna, and Whitney Houston, women who had overcome their own obstacles to achieve greatness. Sara vowed to do the same, to prove that talent and determination could triumph over hatred and doubt. Every competition she entered, every stage she conquered, was another step away from those dark school days and toward the light of her dreams. By the time Sara auditioned for America's Got Talent, she had already proven herself in Poland. But American audiences didn't care about her European credentials. They only cared about what they saw and heard on that stage. And in the weeks between her golden buzzer audition and the live shows, Sara faced a crucial question. Could she deliver under pressure on the biggest stage of her life? The night of the third qualifier round arrived with Sara scheduled to close the show, the coveted final performance slot. Backstage, she made a decision that would silence every critic and doubter who questioned whether she deserved to be there. Instead of playing it safe with another emotional ballad, Sara chose Elton John's rock anthem, Rocket Man. A bold selection that showcased not just her vocal prowess but her artistic fearlessness. As she walked onto that stage for her first live performance, the weight of expectation hung heavy in the air. Millions of Americans were watching from home, voting for their favorites. This was the moment that would determine whether she advanced to the finals or went home to Poland. From the opening notes, Sara commanded that stage with the confidence of a seasoned performer. Her unique interpretation of Rocket Man wasn't just a cover, it was a reimagining, a transformation of a classic rock song into something entirely her own. Her voice soared through the complex melody with effortless precision, hitting notes that seemed to defy the laws of physics for someone her age. The audience sat transfixed, many recording the performance on their phones, desperate to capture this magical moment. As Sara built toward the song's climactic finish, the entire theater seemed to hold its breath collectively. When the final note rang out, pandemonium erupted once again. All four judges shot to their feet, their applause thunderous and genuine. Simon Cowell was visibly moved, shaking his head in amazement. Howie Mandel called her rendition a winning performance, his voice filled with conviction that Sara could take home the grand prize. But it was Simon's assessment that captured the brilliance of what they just witnessed. That song choice was absolutely genius, he declared, his praise carrying the weight of someone who had discovered and mentored countless superstars. Heidi Klum predicted Sara would advance to the finals, while Sofia Vergara couldn't contain her excitement, gushing about the maturity and artistry on display. Twitter exploded with reactions. Sarah James just won America's Got Talent trended nationwide. Instagram comments flooded in by the thousands, viewers unanimous in their praise. Best performance of the season so far. One viral comment read, garnering tens of thousands of likes. If she doesn't make the finals, we riot. Another declared. The social media frenzy built throughout the results show until Terry Crews finally announced that Sara had secured the third spot in the finals. The live audience erupted, chanting her name in unison. Sara stood on that stage, tears streaming down her face once again, overwhelmed by the love and support from a country she'd only just begun to discover. But Sara wasn't finished proving herself. The finals demanded something spectacular, something that would cement her legacy regardless of the final result. She chose Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill, A Deal with God. A song experienced a massive resurgence thanks to the hit series Stranger Things. It was a risky choice, a song that millions had recently fallen in love with again, which meant expectations were sky high. Sara didn't just meet those expectations. She obliterated them. On finale night, Sara delivered what many consider one of the greatest vocal performances in America's Got Talent history. Her interpretation of Running Up That Hill was so emotionally devastating, so technically flawless that even hardened industry professionals found themselves wiping away tears. Heidi Klum, overcome with emotion, declared Sara one of act's greatest discoveries, her voice cracking with genuine feeling. The standing ovation seemed to last forever, wave after wave of applause crashing over the stage. Before her final performance, Sara joined forces with the Black Eyed Peas for an electrifying rendition of Let's Get It Started, sporting a sparkly futuristic jumpsuit that captured her star power perfectly. She nailed the signature intro riff before the legendary group joined her on stage, the crowd erupting in cheers as they grooved to the iconic hit together. When the votes were tallied and the winner announced, Sara didn't make the top 5. The season 17 crown went to dance group The Mayas. Some viewers expressed shock and disappointment, believing Sara had been robbed of victory. But those who truly understood her journey knew that Sara James had already won something far more valuable than $1 million prize. What happened next would prove that sometimes losing a competition is just the beginning of an extraordinary story. Sara returned to Poland a national hero. The press waited at the airport, photographers shouting her name, reporters clamoring for interviews. But Sara's eyes were already fixed on the future. I want to be the first act person to win a Grammy, she declared with the quiet confidence of someone who knew her journey was far from over. In November 2022, Sara officially released her cover of Running Up That Hill, allowing fans to relive that magical finale performance whenever they wanted. The response was overwhelming, the song quickly accumulating millions of streams. But Sara's biggest career announcement came in March 2023, news so exciting it felt like something from a fairy tale. Disney had chosen her to voice Ariel in the Polish-language version of the Little Mermaid live-action film, which premiered in May of that year. For Sara, giving her voice to the iconic Disney princess was a dream beyond dreams. I still can't believe that I gave my voice to the main character and also performed these wonderful songs in a Disney film, she shared with her fans on Instagram, where her following had exploded to over 460,000 devoted supporters. It is my dubbing debut. This amazing adventure required from me a new approach to working with my voice. HT fans didn't have to wait long to see Sara again on American television. In 2023, she returned for the high-stakes act, All-Star competition. Determined to prove she had grown even more as an artist, her audition performance of Harry Styles as it was had crowds going wild, her voice sounding more stunning and confident than ever. Heidi Klum was moved to tears, telling Sara, "You are a star in the making, and I have so much respect for you for coming back. I love your style. My daughter, who just turned 13, is a huge fan of yours. I'm almost 50 and a huge fan of yours. I think you're fantastic." The respect and admiration from someone of Heidi's stature spoke volumes about Sara's impact on the industry. Throughout 2023 and 2024, Sara released a string of original singles that showcased her evolution as an artist and songwriter. Hula Hoop brought infectious energy and vibrant pop sensibilities. My Wave revealed her dreamy, introspective side. Detox tackled the painful but necessary topic of leaving toxic relationships, a message Sara felt passionate about sharing with her young fan base. I Tell Everyone About You demonstrated her gift for emotional storytelling. Blue showcased her ability to collaborate with other artists. Each release further established her as a serious recording artist, not just a talented competition contestant. The culmination of all this work arrived on November 8, 2024, when Sara released her debut studio album Playhouse under the prestigious Polydor Records, a division of Universal Music. The 18-track concept album invited listeners into Sara's mind, using the metaphor of a house to explore different aspects of her inner world and emotional landscape. Critics praised the album's mature pop sound, vibrant R&B influences, and cinematic production quality. Reviews noted that despite being only 16 years old, Sara had created a cohesive artistic vision that many veteran artists struggle to achieve. The album featured everything from the dark, anticipatory detox to the hopeful, indie rock influenced Sunshine State of Mind, a song dedicated to her mother and the people who supported her through the toughest moments of her life. Sara's lyrics reminded critics of Olivia Rodrigo's raw honesty. On Psycho, she confesses vulnerabilities about her mental health with brutal candor. Unlike Me, she raps with the swagger and confidence of someone who has found her voice and isn't afraid to use it. The album channels the spirits of Rihanna, Beyoncé, and Billie Eilish while maintaining Sara's unique charisma and perspective in 2024. Sara also revealed publicly that she had been diagnosed with ADHD, which she manages through psychotherapy and medication, demonstrating once again her commitment to authenticity and using her platform to reduce stigma around mental health challenges. Today, Sara James stands at the precipice of international superstardom. Her Instagram following continues to grow, now exceeding 464,000 fans who follow her every move. Her YouTube videos accumulate millions of views. Industry insiders predict she may be the only musician in the Polish entertainment industry capable of achieving a true worldwide breakthrough and critical acclaim. Her accent-free English songwriting is spot on, her vocal abilities continue to develop and mature, and her stage presence rivals performers twice her age. While she hasn't landed that record deal in America yet, Sara continues to work tirelessly on her craft, balancing her education with her burgeoning music career. She performs at festivals and concerts across Poland, her name now synonymous with excellence and perseverance. The young girl who once changed schools to escape racist bullies now headlines stages where thousands gather to celebrate her talent. The teenager who traveled to America for the first time with her mother, nervous and overwhelmed, now navigates international opportunities with poise and professionalism.